Alright everyone, and welcome back to another video of the F123 Driver Career Mode with Haas, episode number 14 today for the Brazilian Grand Prix for Season 1. If you missed the previous episode uploaded earlier in the week at Qatar, I recommend you go and check the one out before seeing this one, because spoiler alert, wasn't the easiest race at Qatar. We did get points, but considering where the car is on paper, it should have been a lot better for both myself. Kevin did manage to get P6 in the end after Perez had that late spinala that cost him the race win and gave the win to Carlos Sainz back into second place. R&D wise though, we're going to try and make this car better aero wise, potentially. Rear downforce has got a discount, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put that one on. It's only 3%, but it's something we can afford. We're also going to put major ERS on for Abu Dhabi.
Okay, I need your attention. The tech regulations are changing. There's a risk some of our hard work will be undone, so we need to mitigate it. As soon as you can, I want you to look at the developments we have and tell us what areas you want to invest in protecting.
Okay, so we've got a regulation change at the end of Season 1. Weather forecast though, a little bit more intermediate, because it's going to have looks like we're going to have some rain in the race as well to spice things up. As of course, Brazil, remember 2008, that iconic race where Hamilton pitted late for wet tyres, of course. Might we see a similar move today? We'll have to wait and see. In terms of the, we're back on top though, ahead of Red Bull. Mercedes jumped Ferrari and Aston Martin. They're the third fastest team, very close to Red Bull as well. Alpine have made a huge jump from being the 9th fastest team up there as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this all looks when we come back from the winter break. Only a couple more rounds to go now, and well, we're going to get straight into qualifying here. But first, in qualifying, this is Oscar Piastri. That is into the back, well, not of me, but our teammate Kevin Magnussen. So Piastri is out of qualifying already. Our fastest lap is good enough for P7 so far, minus P8. So, you know, it's going better than what happened in Qatar when we were, 15th and 16th? Was it on the final run? I can't quite remember. But we weren't in the top 10 at that point, and we managed to pull it through for 9th and 10th. Remember rightly, obviously, both Qatar and Brazil are sprint races. In actual fact, there's a lot of sprint races around this part of the calendar, because you've got Qatar. Not only you've got Qatar, you've also got United States as well, which is also a sprint race. Mexico really is the only one there that isn't a sprint race as well. Anyway, I've been talking about sprint race, so I should be focusing on the middle sector. Yeah. Unlike in Qatar, we're not going to have any of those setup issues here, because obviously this is a track that I know very well. Obviously being here, Brazil isn't like a historic track. You know, it's going to be on the calendar hopefully for years to come with the content it provide. Purple middle sector, was not expecting that, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this car is fast in a straight line, but the middle sector is all curves. Maybe wonder that we've got still a little bit too much wind, but maybe it's enough. Not affecting our top speed, 260 miles an hour, and it puts us P1, and that's good enough at the end for P2. I did it a bit early because there was a bit of rain at the end. Magnussen's down in P8, so but he has a 5-place grid penalty for getting in the way of Piastri. So the front row, ladies and gentlemen. The Haas clearly likes this circuit. Well, we'll see what we can do in the sprint. Time for the sprint from second place.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Phoenix completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Hamilton, Perez, Sainz, Magnussen, Norris, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Bottas, Ocon, Tsunoda, Joe, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, De Vries and Logan Sargent. And we're Preparations almost complete. Let's head trackside for today's sprint.
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
Don't you mean top 8, Mark? It's a sprint race. Interestingly, I was thinking about mediums, but everyone's on softs, so we might as well stick it out with everyone. So vibrant lights for the sprint race at Brazil, and away we go. And it's a good start. We're going to fold in behind the club. Remember that Ferrari contract we have, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good chance to show that that we can defend and help our teammate out when necessary, or a teammate out if necessary, I should say, because he's not our teammate. Obviously he's not there, and obviously trying to defend against Max Verstappen, which we barge him out at turn 4. That allows George Russell to get past Verstappen. Verstappen is actually going to try and carry on and try and fight back against Russell. Verstappen doesn't need to win here, but it would be probably nice for Red Bull and him to try and round off the championship ASAP before their car starts to lose a bit of performance there. Russell having a go as DRS, nothing doing there. We just literally backing everyone up. We don't have Leclerc and that Ferrari. There's so much pace in that car. And now, look at Hamilton. Down the inside at turn 4. I think it was the other way around a few years ago, Brazil. Hamilton this time on the inside makes the overtake, at least they don't collide. We are trying to hold off George Russell. We do so for now. Lap number 7, that DRS zone is becoming a bit of an issue. And now, fortunately, Hamilton's going to have a go as his teammate. He pinches him to the inside through one of the center S's, and that allows Hamilton up to P3, Verstappen up to P4. But DRS, it's overpowered on this game, and we're just going to absolutely mince Verstappen. Sorry, not Verstappen, Hamilton with DRS, and move back up into P2. As well, Leclerc is running away with this one quite clearly. There is Lando Norris, the McLaren not having a good weekend, as well as it gets in the train, and that's Norris round. So Lando Norris is going to fall to the back of the queue, and that's Tsunoda retiring. That AlphaTauri has got so bad reliability. It's a joke how many times they've retired in this season. So if somebody wants to go and feel free to go and count that. Let me know in the comments below. But that brought out a late safety car. Now I did think about challenging Leclerc for a potential sprint race victory, but then of course, you know, our contract potentially with Ferrari. Could we get a Ferrari contract for season 2? I'm just saying that we haven't got that far yet, but that is a possibility. You know, we need to impress the Scuderia here, show that we understand, respect their contract. We're just, you know, and Leclerc, even without going full pelt, he's 9/9/10. I mean, I had lift off, but you know, they've got so much straight line speed for the Ferrari, as well as that's forced out Hamilton and allowed Verstappen to get past. But through the middle sector, rear end stepped out, Verstappen around the outside. We're just going to cut him off, basically, and make sure that he does not come up with us. But now Verstappen is really giving us a hound to the line. Can we hold Verstappen up? We should be able to. We've got the better straight line speed from the Red Bull. Verstappen pulls out, but we're not good enough, and we come through. Well, I mean, it's P2, so we've matched. It's technically a podium, but it's a sprint race podium, so it technically doesn't count. So our teammate not having a great time of it down in P10. So yeah, well, it'll be the front row again for the race. We'll have to see what we can do. Time for the race.
Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his 3rd championship here in 2012, and in 2016, Max Verstappen treated us all to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil, is a 2.7 mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if of course the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Phoenix completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Perez, Sainz, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Ocon, Verstappen, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Sargent, De Vries, Norris, Stroll, Joe, and Yuki Tsunoda. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Joined once again by Anthony Davidson for this one. Ant, there's a lot of incidents on track recently for this driver. No one does that on purpose. It is part and parcel of racing, though.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
So we are down the grid. Yeah, P2, front row. Race strategy is going to be a bit interesting. And this is based off with the rain in hand. I think that we can go hard all the way to the rain. I was thinking mediums as well. Mediums is technically a possibility. We push this all the way. You can probably get 20. The game says you can get 27 laps out of a set of not mediums, hard compound tyres. So if we can get 27 laps out of medium compound tyres, get the hards. Mediums go 23 laps. So that was the other consideration, was to try and extend it even further for 23 laps. But I don't think that it might not rain hard enough for Inters. So I think we're going to go for hards. Is play the safe option. If I'd been further down, then perhaps we'd have gone for mediums. Hamilton has gone for mediums. Whether he can make it, we'll have to wait and see. Viper lights are out though. And away we go for the dry part of the race. And it's actually a good start on the hard tyres. Leclerc goes defensive. We're just going to let him go. Ferrari contract and all that. And look at the acceleration out of the Senna S. It's a joke. He should run away with that. And as a result, he's gone. He's just going to go and dominate. Russell had a little look there on lap 2. At turn there, and again a little bit wide there. The hards not giving the grip that I really want, and there is a massive train forming behind as well. Not so much behind me, because this lot have actually broken off. Because Alex Albon, I think, is actually up in the points at the moment. Both him and the man behind, Valtteri Bottas. Bottas has only scored a couple of points, I think, earlier on in the season. Williams haven't scored any, so they're all languishing down at the bottom in the championship. Is it 3 wide between myself and the 2 Mercedes, which take a wide line through the Senna S, and somehow managed to keep P2 with that. But both Mercedes on the attack here, 3 wide with them. So Russell in the middle there. Don't know if he got damage or not, but between himself and his teammate. And then Russell is able to keep ahead for now of Lewis Hamilton. But it's not for long that Russell does have damage, and he's starting to hold up everyone as well. Not being helped there by a little bit more contact with his teammate as well. So Russell has damage, as well as Sainz and Perez are battling over that position. You can see there, Sainz has now got in front of Russell. Hamilton is the one that's sort of battling me. There was a bit of a gap between myself and Hamilton, but Hamilton has chased me down, so he has got the better tyres as the soft tyre runners start to pit. Gasly is the next one to go past George Russell around the outside, and this will be a good result for Alpine if they can get, if they can stay ahead of that. It'll be P6. So, Hamilton comes yet again. but he's so slow for braking into CNRS that we're able to get him back pretty much straight away as well. And that's allowed Sainz, our battling has allowed Sainz to actually catch up. And crucially, this man has come in for his stop. We suspected that the AI did. This is the other reason why I wanted the hard tyres, is to make sure that I don't make a second stop, a first dry stop. I'm just going straight to the wet tyres, or the intermediate tyres as well. But let's Sainz go here, because he's now got in front of Hamilton. And to be honest, I mean, the straight line speed, the Ferrari looks very good around this track, I'm not going to lie. Sainz has now cleared the traffic. Leclerc is coming in as well, and I'm sure that trying to help Sainz out really will get us noticed and get us thanked by the Ferrari. We're going to let Leclerc go here. Again, he's got DRS. He's comfortably able to move to the back to the racing line, because we haven't got unlike with the other teams, we haven't got an engine advantage over the Ferrari as well. Sainz and Hamilton come out behind. The only man who hasn't actually stopped at this point, that's Zhou Guanyu. For medium car, he's started on mediums, but I think he will be coming in the next couple of laps. As well as we're watching, that is Oscar Piastri, who's had a miserable weekend, and it continues to pour on the Australians weekend as the rain is starting to fall. That's brought out a virtual safety car to recover Piastri's car as he's parked on the inside there, which is absolute perfect timing for everyone to come into the pits and fit in the intermediate. Our hard tyres, to be fair, 49% worn. They have done 22 laps. I'm not sure they'd have done the 27, but fortunately the rain has come a little bit earlier than expected. Hards off, Inters on, as well as Sainz and Hamilton have also come into the pits, and everyone will be coming into the pits, I think. Yeah, in the background, yes, I thought I saw this. Pierre Gasly and the Williams have carried on. What are they thinking of? Look, Sainz is coming out the pits, and Sainz has got so much more grip. He's just going to go easily down the inside. As well as behind Perez, we've got Verstappen, who's had a great recovery drive from outside the top 10, and Alonso there. Russell's dropped down now to what I think is P8, and I think that's 9th and 10th in the form of Ocon and Norris as well. But jumping to lap 30, not a lot happened in the intermediate position period, I'm not going to lie, but jumping to lap 30, Sainz has been closing in on this at a rate of knots. I don't think it can match the Ferrari today, but I'm worried about potentially Hamilton. Hamilton was also closing in as well, and I've decided to make the call and to move to wet tyre, the full extreme wet tyre. This tyre is not used very often in real life Formula 1, but nevertheless, we are going to use it because in game it's actually going to be better at this moment in time with the amount of water. Now the AI are going to stay out on intermediates. Nobody else is on this strategy. We're the only ones. It might backfire. First up is Verstappen. There's a bit of tyre banging as Verstappen doesn't want to yield the position or give us any room whatsoever. Fortunately to come away unscathed from that as well. Next up is his teammate Perez, and it is clearly time for wets. The intermediates are struggling. There's too much water. As we almost go off from the full wet tyre as well. Now we're up to P4. Hamilton is available, but first up, there's good news for our championship and bad news for Alonso and Aston Martin fans, because Alonso is out of the race with another engine failure. I think that he retired in Qatar, so that's a couple on the bounce now for Fernando. He will not be happy with that. Hamilton is going to defend round the outside, late on the brakes. Hamilton gives us the room, and we're up onto the podium. We can't catch Sainz or Leclerc, they're in a league of their own today. But I think we can get third place to finally get that podium that we've been after on a couple of occasions this year. And we're up onto the podium on the full wet tyres. And Hamilton has got, nobody has got answer. We did take 7/10 out of Sainz in the end, but it wasn't enough. Leclerc wins, but we come across the line. Finally, we have a podium in this series. Finally, the third time lucky after Monaco and then Monza. Comes to Brazil. It's been 14 rounds, but finally the fastest car on the grid has a podium as well. Yeah, Ferrari won 2, to be fair. Fastest lap was a 12.2, Leclerc's a 10.7, but we were on the hard tyres. Kevin, I don't want to say, it was a bit lacklustre for him, really. Yeah, and he was actually Gasly suffered there with that rain and failed to get points in the end. That's such a shame for Pierre, really, because he had such a good start to the race, and then the rain really hampered him. Getting some good points, which allows his teammate to gain points on him. We have moved ahead of Fernando Alonso in the Drivers' Championship by 6 points as well. We're also back into 4th place ahead of Aston Martin. We lost that a long time ago early in the season. We've now got a 25-point lead margin over them as well, thanks to Alonso's DNF and Stroll only getting P12, our 3rd place. Yeah, Magnussen contributing a little bit with 10th place today, but 6th obviously better for him in Qatar as well. So yeah, for us, there's 2 races remaining, Vegas and United and Abu Dhabi. Both of those hopefully will be out sometime next week. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we can do at Las Vegas. Unlike Qatar, I have done a race around there before, when we did that sunset race. So I haven't seen that yet. Then I recommend go and check that out. See Las Vegas in the day, basically. Yeah. So I have done. So I think this car will be able to thrive a bit better there potentially than Brazil. Definitely better than Qatar if we have the right setup. And then Abu Dhabi should be okay. It's actually a better track for me in that new layout that they have. So if we have a good end of the season, impress Ferrari enough, then it's only a matter of time before they'll have to allow us in, despite what Leclerc and Sainz are doing. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today's episode. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. See plenty more F123 driving videos as I'm going to come out to the next video. Then I'll see you next time. Take care, enjoy your day, and goodbye.